Hello and welcome to yet another very, very exciting session of the Positivity Project. My name is Dheeraj Singh and I'm the director of the Idea Lab at MIT World Peace University in Pune. And I have the privilege and honor of introducing Shahabuddin David Less. He comes from a long tradition of meditation and finding this resolution to conflict both within and without. He has been instrumental in bringing traditionally hostile and conflicting people together. His Abrahamic reunion group has been really playing a very key role in bringing the Palestinian people and the Israeli people together into conversation on the same page, starting out a dialogue between people. David has been traveling across the world, visiting different traditions, mystic traditions, finding and learning from different traditions. He was in India in the 70s for the first time, and that's where he went to Kerala and also to Uttarakhand, where he actually found a teacher and he learned from him and so many different other traditions. So David actually, in a sense, symbolizes the Rig Vedic tradition, or the Rig Vedic verse, which says that the truth is one, but the sages know it as many different things. So he is actually a seeker who has been finding the truth and finding ways to resolve different conflicts across the world, and why he's so important in our time today, in our pandemic time, where we have been separations have been driven between society, between people, and people have stopped talking. There's too much hatred, especially on the medium that was supposed to bring us closer together, which is the social media, and there is absolutely no end to it. So people and peacemakers like David Less become very important in our world today, and it is extremely great fortune of mine to be introducing Shahabuddin David Less to our Positivity Project session today. So welcome, a very warm welcome to you, David Shahabuddin Less, and from here on, the stage is yours.
Thank you. First of all, thank you, Sangeeta Singh and the Positivity Project. It is events like this that touch a deeper place in each human being who's open to it, that's been waiting to have their heart tickled. We all, in our depth, want peace. And you might look at the world and say, well, if that's the case, why is there such a mess? And there is a mess right now. But we need to understand something, some basic inner guidelines about peace. Every religion at its core teaches that the pure essence, the pure soul, is absolute stillness. All manifestation comes out of stillness. And yet, we live our lives in the opposite way. Everything that begins to emerge from stillness is vibration. All manifestation is vibration. The whole physical, mental universe is all vibration. But we don't accept this, even though we know it's truth. So if you imagine life as a line from the source, which we'll say is absolute stillness, to extreme movement, the absolute stillness is peace. It's not a peace that is comparable. It's pure, it's essential. As we move further and further away from that peace, we begin to get denser, heavier, more individuated, and we lose the gift that our soul, our spirit, whatever word you wish to use, intends to experience, which is to experience that state, that purity, while in the physical body. It's true, I've traveled greatly in my life. I've lived in India, I've lived in Indonesia, in Bali, I've lived in China, I've lived for a short time in Japan, and certainly in Europe. And what did I learn? I wasn't just running hither and yon out of fun. I knew from when I was a little child, I knew that there is a singularity behind all the diversity. I love that people are different. I love that we're individuals. I love that we each create in our own way. What I don't love is when we begin to lose more and more contact with the very fine vibration that is the beginning of that line that I spoke of. And what did I see? I saw that there is a unifying essence among all human beings, among all manifestation. And I don't know how to say this without it sounding threatening, and I don't mean it that way. But if we begin to only trust the densest vibrations, the most selfish vibrations, I genuinely fear for humanity. You know, people say, oh, we need to save the planet. The planet's fine. It's been here for billions of years. If human beings disappear, it'll still be here. It'll take a few tens or hundreds of millions of years, but it will be here. But humanity, this beautiful creation, has a chance to move to the next step. We've never had a global civilization before. With all the different iterations of humanity, we've never had a global civilization. Here we are, all together. You're in India, you're in Europe, South America, I'm in North America. And somehow we're connecting, we're focusing globally. Can you imagine if we use the fullness of our potentiality to connect and recognize each other as a different version of the one being? There's only one being, the eternal, the only being, and in actuality, nothing exists but that one being. But we've lost touch with that. And that's our challenge. Diraj mentioned the Abrahamic reunion. This is a group of human beings in both Palestine and Israel who recognized that what is occurring doesn't have to be. That there are ways to peace. There are ways to understanding. And what we did is we followed a simple hypothesis. And it's called the Contact Hypotheses. And simply stated, if you bring people together who have never really met, but have imagined the other, if you bring them together in a neutral surrounding, hopefully a beautiful one, without having a preconceived idea of what the result, quote, should be, but you just let it happen, remarkable things can emerge. So we started bringing people together again and again. Some would leave and say that was a waste of time. But some began to shift their point of view. And in shifting the point of view, it releases the tension from the heart chakra. It releases the tightness. And the natural love that's there begins to emerge. So we brought together groups of women, men, families, children, and clergy. And we brought together people who really hated each other. We brought together victims of violence to tell their story. Maybe I can tell you a story to give it a little perspective, one that comes to mind. There was a conference, and at the conference, 2 women were invited to present. One was a Palestinian woman whose nephew, it was an extended family, had been taken in by Israeli security, and let me say gently, was treated quite badly. The other, an Israeli Jewish woman, whose son was the recipient of caustic acid thrown at him over much of his body. And miraculously, he lived. Well, these 2 women don't know each other, and they go to this conference, and they get their rooming assignment, and they're in the same room to sleep, the accommodation. The Israeli woman told me, she said, I didn't sleep a wink. I was in fear the whole night. Finally, at about 3 or 4 in the morning, the Palestinian woman said, I can't take it anymore. Go ahead and kill me. If you want to kill me, kill me. The Israeli woman said, no, no. I was afraid you wanted to kill me. Well, those 2 women became very close friends. and have started some really beautiful events in Israel and Palestine. So why the story? Well, we hold in our minds impressions, thoughts, feelings about the other, whether we know the other or not. You know, the great thing about Homo sapiens, and the reason we, excuse me, we rose up above others is because we can imagine. Actually, sociologically, the Neanderthals were better suited for this planet. Their bodies were stronger. They were better at hunting and so on. But they couldn't imagine a community. And that's our gift. We can know the other. We can feel the other. What's happened now is we've made relationships a business. Yeah, I'll give to you, but you have to give to me. I'll be kind to you, but only if you're kind to me. I'll love you, but only if you love me. Every single religion has the same golden rule. Do to the other. See the other as yourself. It's universal. And yet, most of the wars we've fought have been about religion, because we only see separation. We're both right, but I'm righter, is the attitude we get. Well, we have a chance now. We have a chance because we are this global civilization. We have a chance to move forward. But there's one step. Without that step, it's very difficult. And what's the one step? It doesn't do enough to want peace. We must. And you know, as a spiritual person and teacher, I rarely say must. We all have to do what we do, but we must experience our own inner peace. Without that, it won't work. I had a few opportunities. I hope you don't feel like I'm name dropping, but it's so real, to spend time with Mother Teresa. And she told me this story, and it stayed with me. She said there was a time in India, in Kolkata, and people were really lacking food. And she said, I had just begun my work, and someone gave me a large bag of rice. And I divided the rice into different portions. And I went to a family that I knew was really on the edge of starvation. And I gave the mother the rice. And she thanked me profusely. And she took out 2 bowls in her little hut. And she divided the rice in half. And she immediately took that half and gave it to her neighbor. And Mother Teresa asked her, "But you don't have enough. Why did you do that?" And she said, "If I didn't do that, I couldn't have eaten any of the rice, because I would have felt my neighbor's hunger." That story has stayed with me for decades. So to find our own inner peace, of course, there's practice and meditation. But we need desperately to give up our hunger. Not just our hunger for food, our hunger for more and more and more. And as that hunger grows, we tell ourselves a story. And the story is, no, I really need this. What if a rainy day comes? I need a drier roof. What if there's a famine? What if there's a virus? What if? So I'm not selfish because I need all of this. What is the human ego? What is it? Originally, it was the force that kept us alive. It was the need for the human race in its infancy to survive. If another group, another clan, another tribe had food and we didn't, we took that food. It wasn't acceptable by today's standards, but then it was necessary. But that ego, instead of evolving, in many people has stayed in that state. So the training of a peacemaker is to overcome the individuated ego that says, oh, I have a right to this. I need this. Others might suffer, but it's more important because I need this. Well, if we give up that point of view, things begin to happen. Things we could never have imagined. Is it a risk? Sure it is. Sure it is. You know, I have 4 children and 6 grandchildren. And of course, I want them to be well and to be happy. But I also want others to be well and happy. And people say, well, certainly your family comes first. I don't know that we have to rank everything. Can I not wish good things for my family and for my human family? Life is short. And I ask myself often, what are you going to take from here? And what have you given? These are real questions, which we can absorb daily if we dare to look. The soul, the spirit, whatever you wish to call it, is pure. And as it emerges from the absolute stillness It goes through denser and denser planes of manifestation. In each plane, there is less connection with the source because it covers itself with denser and denser coverings. The last stop on the journey is physical manifestation, the human being. You know, the word human is very interesting, especially in this venue. I hope I can remember this correctly, but human comes from two words. One is hu or hu, which in many traditions means God. And the other is mana or manas. I might be remembering wrong, but it's Sanskrit. And it means mind. The human is the God mind. It's in us, covered over. When we leave here, we leave this body. Whether it's buried or cremated or put on platforms in the sky for the vultures to take. One way or another, this body goes back to the planet. We've borrowed it from planet Earth. We have to give it back. But the mind continues. The next world after the physical, as we know, is the world of mind. It's where we go in our dreams. And as these pure souls come in and go through denser and denser planes, they come to the world of mind and they absorb thoughts and feelings that are unfinished. If I die, and which I will, this body will die, and my mind is full of anger, resentment, eventually, in the world of mind, and I'm paraphrasing, eventually the energy will go out of those thoughts. It might take a long, long time. But the other possibility is as these souls who are purely innocent come in, they might take the thought from me. Maybe I'm a terrible person, but they don't know good and bad. They just absorb. This is really the understanding of karma. Because we are one being, what occurs to the individual is at the level of oneness acceptable. What occurs to the individual at the level of separation is not acceptable. When I see my neighbor is hungry, I don't have to think we're all one. I know they're hungry. But it can work the other way too. It can be very negative. Let's go back to the line of vibration. One end is very fine, and it gets denser and denser and denser until it becomes very gross. The fineness is peace. And where is that peace? It's within each of us. The denser becomes the area of sensation. We like to experience things. We like sensation. We like excitement. Well, we like it, we got it. We've got it. But we become more habituated to sensation. We want greater and greater sensation. Look at what's acceptable today. Just look in the media. Violence is acceptable. It's a sensation. Racism is acceptable. It's a sensation. Exploitation of other human beings, that's a sensation. We accept it because we keep covering ourselves, and it becomes more and more habitual, and we become more and more justified in our limited points of view. And it's a tough, tough habit to break. But we can. We seek more and more external sensation, and it goes up, and we say, oh, this is great. And then it comes down. No, I need greater sensation. What originally started really as joy, the joy of being a physical human being, then becomes hell. You know, I know people who have incredible wealth, incredible. And they tell me that there was a period when they never thought they had enough. And the numbers they said, which they didn't think were enough, were so huge. But some of them have really transformed. And they now understand that they need to create a space of inner peace. Otherwise, there's never happiness. And I had a teacher who I was with for 48 years, and he told me a story about his teacher. And his teacher was a young man. His name was Inayat Khan. And he was in Hyderabad. And even at 19, Inayat Khan was a great musician. And the Nizam, the ruler of Hyderabad, heard about him, and he said, come, play for me. And this young man played for him, played the veena. And the Nizam went into a state of ecstasy. And he had him come back again and again. One day he said to young Inayat, I want to show you where I really live. And he took him through the different rooms of the palace, and he opened a door into a room that was just painted wall, no images, just one color. And on the floor was a straw mat. And he said, this is where I sleep. This is where I live. And then he said an amazing thing. He said, this is my real palace. And Anayat, being a young man, said to him, then why all the splendor? I've seen you ride once a year and on, I think, a white elephant with a clothing laden with gold. He said, people need to see the ideal. People need to hope. But this is who I am, the emptiness. If you practice Buddhism, if you practice Zen Buddhism especially, different meditations, where do you get? You get to emptiness. What does it mean? It means peace. It means peace. Sometimes in the meetings that we have, people get a little angry with each other and they vent. They've been through terrible things. And what do we do? What do I do? I don't say, oh, stop, stop, stop. This won't get you anywhere. That's from here. I sit and I find my own place of stillness. And the other peacemakers that work together with us have trained themselves to not react, to find the place of peace, and then breathe. Breathe peace in and peace out. Eventually, the flame dies down. And something else happens. We each, human being, if you dig deep enough, have an ideal of God. We each know we're connected, but we need to experience it. So maybe we can do a meditation for a few minutes. Before we do, Dhiraj, do you have any questions? Comments?
Not yet, but we could take them after we finish the meditation.
Good, good. Okay. So I ask that you please sit with your back straight if you can. If you wish to lie down, you can lie down. The key thing is to be in the natural state. Don't try. Don't try. And I need to just tell Sangeeta, I'm very aware of the time. I never go over the time. I don't want you to worry during the meditation. Anybody, just relax. To begin, just observe your breath. You can even say, I am breathing in and I am breathing out. But I request that you breathe a natural breath, not a deep breath, not a shallow breath, just a natural rhythm. Vibration that I spoke of is rhythm. When it gets very out of rhythm, we have chaos. But when it's in rhythm, It's truly a gift. So just a natural breath, as if your breath is a swing, a child's swing, and you see it going back and going forward as you inhale and exhale. Now, regardless of what your mind is thinking, just very gently imagine that breath is energy, prana is life, and you're breathing this life in and out through the center of your chest, right where the breastbone is. Natural breathing. And now, instead of just breathing in energy, breathe in joyous energy. Breathe in joy. Natural breath. Don't be afraid to feel this joy. This is the pure joy. This is the joy that has no opposite. It's not sensation, it's exaltation. Keep the thought of joy in your heart. And take in some long breaths of joy. So you're going to breathe joy in and joy out. Continue that. Deep breaths, long breaths of joy in and joy out. Remember, no questions. This is the true joy with no opposite, no question. Now take in some short breaths of joy, in and out, shorter than your natural breathing. Joy in, joy out, joy in, joy out. Now back to the natural breath, breathing joy in and out the heart. Now we're going to switch the feeling. And remember, these are the feelings from the depth. It's like the ocean. The surface can have waves and storms. But if you go deeper, it's still. So now, with the thought of love in your heart, breathe love in and love out with the natural breath. Remember, this is the love without question, not why or who. It has no opposite. And really feel it. Let yourself feel. Now, with the thought of love in your heart, take in a long breath of love and let it out. Take these long breaths of love in and long breath of love out. Just keep repeating. Now, short breaths of love in and short breaths of love out. Love in, love out. Keeping centered on the heart chakra. Now back to natural breathing. Natural breathing. Breathing love in and love out naturally. And now finally, breathe peace in and peace out. Just the natural breath of peace, centered in the center of the chest, in the heart chakra. Just natural peace in and peace out. Now, long breath of peace in, long breath of peace out, and repeat that. Now, short breath, peace in and peace out. Now, natural breath of peace. Now, fill up the room that you're in, fill it with peace. Now cover the town or the city where you are, blanket it in peace. And now extend that peace beyond distinctions and differences and blanket our beautiful, lovely planet with peace. Holy Mother, grant us peace. Holy Mother, bring peace to our bodies. Let them be healthy, full of life and light, and filled with peace. Holy Mother, bring peace to our minds, that we may withstand the difficulties of life on earth with peace. Holy Mother, help us to extend peace, kindness, and tolerance to all human beings. Even those whom we love but don't really like. Help us to extend peace. Holy Mother, cover our hearts with peace. Bring peace to our breath. Bring peace to our eyes. Bring peace to our very essential humanness. that we may become an instrument of your holy peace. So while we're in this state, just take a few seconds and think of those in your family or friends that you really love. Just think of them. Don't wish anything. Just feel them. Connect with them. Don't pray that they do what you want. Just feel them. Om Hari Om, Amin, Omen, Amen, Yahu Soka. So now open your eyes. So we have 2 minutes. I want to take just a moment to thank dear Sangeeta Singh, the Positivity Project, and Diraj Singh. The world is intoxicated now, and the work you're doing is going to awaken sobriety. Sobriety is not bad. Sobriety is love. It's our natural state. So I'm happy to be part of this and to support it. In my final minute, this picture above my head was taken by Swami Sundaranandji over 20 years ago. It's above Gangotri in the Tapavan Glacier, above Gamok. This lake does not exist anymore. It's happening all over the planet. So our work, our meditation is not just for ourselves. It's for all of humanity. So thank you. Deep blessings on you all. And may we live
For
in peace.
giving us that wonderful exposition on peace and inner resolution and finding solutions to some of our gravest problems that the world and we as individuals are facing. Thank you once again for joining us on the Positivity Project. Good luck and for all your initiatives in the future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Coming on board with Rejuvenate and the Positivity Project was a no-brainer for me. My name is Monisha Sakrani, and I'm the co-founder of a New Delhi-based initiative called the Angels Network. I've had a working relationship with Sangeeta Singh for the last few years, and our visions have always been aligned. We have quietly and publicly contributed to each other's projects since we've known each other, and when she came up with Rejuvenate, my heart instantly said yes. Personally, I was on board in an instant, and then I realized that the Angels Network true commitment is to creating greater good and joy in the world, and hence we could come on board as a team too. I know without a shadow of a doubt that this event is going to open the minds, the hearts, and the doors of everyone who connects with it. Each speaker will connect with a different soul, and together, like a beautifully crafted jigsaw puzzle, we will be able to contribute and create a greater consciousness together. The planet and its people need a dose of positivity and awareness right now, more than ever, and I feel privileged to be able to be a part of this project. I look forward to the ripples and the waves of love and positivity it creates. Let's rejuvenate together.